Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Steven Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast. Ruining pro wrestling podcasting since 2014. Got a huge wrestling weekend ahead of us. We've got All In, Saturday night's main event, and then Evolution also thrown in there. Great American Bash. Of course, we're doing our huge predictions challenge for July.
Hold up.
Oh, did I miss something?
Super Card of Honor.
God damn it, you got me on that one. Good one. Oh, man. So just for you guys, to let you guys know, tomorrow evening we're going to be doing our 2-hour SmackDown review. Our review's not going to be 2 hours. SmackDown's 2 hours.
Gosh, I hope it's not going to be 2 hours.
Hopefully it'll be
45 minutes.
And then we can do what, Larson?
Get our load on.
That's right. And then, of course, right after the SmackDown review, we'll be doing our Super Card of Honor review. And then, All In? This is the first
Saturday.
time. This is the first time we'll be doing it. This might be the first. The first time in a long time we've done an AEW watch along. It might be our last time in a long time that we do an AEW watch along.
I guess fortune smiled upon us. No family obligations on a Saturday afternoon.
Shocking. I know. I think the show starts at noon Pacific. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, 2 Central. Yeah.
All right. That's doable. And then I think we're going to shut it down and do our review kind of in private like we always do our reviews these days.
Yeah. So, just to make sure that your internet,
you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Anyway, loaded weekend. Hopefully you join us for the all-in watch-along. We're going to talk a little bit in a bit about the go-home and go-home math, although there is a collision tonight, which I think is live. I don't think they taped this last night.
They did not tape it. No, I was looking for results. I'll double check, but I don't believe it was taped.
I looked for results this morning, and I was like, okay, I don't think there's spoilers out there. I think they're advertising this as a live deal. They're already in Texas, so they might as well do the thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's a live show tonight. So, it's the Go Home Dynamite, but it's not necessarily the Go Home show heading all in. And given the nature of the Hangman Mox story, I would think the actual go home, that's going to be the real tell, is who wins the tag match between the Young Bucks, Swerve, and Ospreay.
Oh, that's a good point. We'll talk about that here in a little bit because we've got our AEW Dynamite recap and our NXT go home to the NXT Gab, the Great American Bash, all sorts of go home math there as well, including a match added, one that we had speculated on, and that's, of course, the triple threat, the final battle between, not Ring of Honor's final battle. This is just the Tony D family final battle as Rizzo. Rizzo's the best actor out of all three of those.
She really is.
She really is. I was pretty captivated by her little sit-down speech. I was like, gosh darn, they got something with this Rizzo girl.
Yeah, she's good. She was this whole Tony D'Angelo story with Stax and Luca. It hasn't really hit. I don't really feel like. But then last night, Rizzo comes back, and she actually adds some emotional weight to things.
It actually kind of hit last night. The go-home angle kind of hit.
It did.
No, I'm with you on that. We're going to talk about NXT here in a bit. But first, we got some news, including items from the week in wrestling that you want us to talk about. But first up, oh boy, here we go.
Get excited, Steve.
I'm actually excited for this one. We got another celebrity wrestler, perhaps, maybe, potentially for the WWE. So
maybe.
Even after facing criticism for Travis Scott's involvement at WrestleMania this year, WWE might be bringing in another celebrity for SummerSlam. PW Insider reports singer and actor Jelly Roll has been training to make his WWE in-ring debut and will do so at SummerSlam. PWInsider.com can confirm. Jelly Roll will be at tomorrow's Friday night SmackDown, so tomorrow night, to kick off the storyline, which we are told will see him aligned with the top babyface ahead of SummerSlam in East Rutherford, New Jersey, this August. PW Insider has not confirmed the babyface's name, but when we asked if it was Cody Rhodes, we were told, no way. In the past, he has pointed, Jelly Roll has, to dropping weight in anticipation of perhaps doing something in the ring with WWE, and that time is now. I tell you the dream match. If you want a true Forbidden Door match, Larson. People clamoring for AEW versus WWE. The match that I would love to see above everything. Above, Hangman versus Punk. or Seth versus Kenny. Match above all, Jelly Roll versus Action Bronson.
Wow.
Remember when Action Bronson got on the ring? I think with Hook or something. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was with Hook.
It was kind of cool though. The guy could kind of go.
Yeah, he could. He had charisma.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, this is WWE's way of doing things. They bring in the celebrities to bring a larger spotlight to their, especially major premium live events. That's what they do. They try to get the mainstream media talking about whatever they're doing. Jelly Roll is wildly popular at the moment. Has been for a few years now. I would expect this to get some, as my chair falls down here, some significant press coverage.
You're going to look like one of our contemporaries now. You got to get a little tiny laptop and a fake empty bar behind you.
How about that?
So, Jelly Roll, garbage, right?
Oh, no, I haven't seen him wrestle yet.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, look, man. Here's the great thing about these big hosses, right? Like, you ain't got to do a lot. You know, he's a big dude. You just get in there. You don't have to do all that much. You know, you just sort of run the ropes and hit people, and watch people bounce off you. I don't know, man. Look, there is. We've seen this. It's the Bad Bunny blueprint, the Triple B, where you take a guy, you slowly integrate him into a story. You show that he is interested and buys into the WWE and all that they're doing. And then you show him do one or two really cool things. You know, maybe he drops a power bomb or something. I don't know. I always mark out for a good power bomb.
Oh, yeah.
But if you go that route and do it kind of slowly, now, problem is, if I'm not mistaken, SummerSlam is less than a month away now.
That's correct.
They can't really do much slowly here.
No.
Bad Bunny, it took ages between his first, like, sort of appearance. I think it was he was performing for Booker T. Booker T showed up for the Rumble. But then he started aligning himself with, oh, God, I forgot who it was. But I think it was against, like, it was with Priest and then it was against Priest. Something like that.
Yeah, it was with Priest at first.
And then it was against Priest, yeah.
And they have a tag match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I want to say, like...
And then later on had the match against Priest in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was terrific. It was probably the perfect, you know, and of course, obviously, Bad Bunny's like one of the biggest names in music around the world. And they did that absolutely to perfection, you know, got the fan base on board. Whether or not they can replicate that with Jelly Roll, I don't know. He seems like a really pleasant personality, though. Whenever I see him on my screen, I'm not like, get this guy out of here. And I feel like if they had done a similar blueprint, I'm not saying, you know, beat for beat, but if they had followed the same broad strokes with Travis Scott, I think maybe they could have done, maybe the fan perception would have been a bit different. There is the sort of the inherent baggage with Travis Scott with the Astroworld stuff, the big concert thing, and then they just had a documentary on it. But so maybe that would have complicated things. But, you know, I don't know if they're able to, you know, try their damnedest to replicate the Bad Bunny blueprint, then maybe it'll work for Jelly Roll. I mean, if somebody said, hey, Steve, you know, do you want him on your SummerSlam card? I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I want wrestlers. But it's WWE. It's like you said, it's kind of what they do. We have a really good alternative if you just want just a shit ton of good wrestling and some logical stories in AEW.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just that's sort of what it is. You get Slim Jim tables and celebrities in WWE, but then you also get the razzle dazzle and some really good drama and some soap opera shit. And I really like that stuff too. So it is what it is.
You know, I guess this PW Insider is saying here that he's making his in-ring debut. And I guess that's some extent, you know, I guess if you take it narrowly, it's him in a match. But it could just mean, oh, he's going to be involved in
like
a
John
match.
Stewart angle. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and if it's a situation where they're going to try to bring him into WWE story slowly, maybe it's a situation, hey, maybe Travis Scott comes to try to help John Cena again. Jelly Roll comes to help Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Mm-hmm. He hits a move, Cody wins, fireworks go off. Maybe it's something like that. I know here they said it wasn't necessarily Cody Rhodes.
I see what you're saying, though, yeah.
but something like that.
Randy versus Drew.
Yeah. And he comes and he helps Randy with something. Not necessarily tagging with Randy.
Yeah.
But he's involved in the match and hits a move, maybe two.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility. Let us know in the comments if you guys want to see this. I feel like it's going to be overwhelmingly no. But once we get introduced to him in sort of a proper wrestling story way, maybe it'll change minds. Maybe not. Like I said, it's not something that I want to see, but it's also something I just realized. Well, it's WWE.
It's just how they do things.
They've done that in a fun way before, which I haven't been opposed to. So if they can pull it off again, great. If it's a bunch of bullshit, then they're just shooting themselves in the foot. That's on there. Either you enjoy the show, or you don't, man.
It's all part of the show, regardless.
It's all part of the show. Talking about part of our show, of course, is what do you want to talk about? And this is the part of the show where we reached out to the friendos to do our jobs for us. We asked you guys in the world of wrestling news stories specifically.
Yeah.
What do you want us to talk about?
So first here from Choweezy, says Shayna Baszler being backstage at NXT to produce a role after being recently released. So I got a quote here from Dave. So apparently Shayna produced the Kalani Jordan versus Laney Reed match on this week's NXT. And Meltzer pretty much said, yeah, she's there helping out, but she hasn't been brought on full-time to work as an agent or producer or whatever. So we had to say these quotes are from WrestlingNews.co. The story on Shayna is this. She's got another month. I assume he means no compete. I think the date is August 2nd when her 90 days is up, so she can't wrestle anywhere until August 2nd. It came out that she was one of the agents for, I believe, the Kalani Jordan match. She has been at NXT taping. She has agented other matches, but this is the first one that came out. It's not like she's taken a job as an agent. She's doing it since she's around and they've asked her.
I think that's a great, possible long-term job for her if she wants it, you would think. But once that 90 day is up, I wonder if there's going to be interest from AEW perhaps. Or if she, I think because the producers and agents with WWE, once you get hired on, I think that's an actual employee status.
Yeah, that's less. Yeah, you're actually a job. That's like a job. You're not an independent contractor. You're an employee. Yeah.
Get them health benefits, that regular direct deposit that is dependable. It's going to be the same amount every 2 weeks or whenever you get it.
You don't have to worry about filling up these buckets.
You miss those days, man.
You know what I miss? It's one thing I miss.
Tax withholdings.
Yep.
Me too, dude. Me too, man. Oh boy. Every February or so, oh boy, I start sweating.
Oh, it's stress between that and tax day.
Sweating. Anyways, this next one from JMC1396. Larson, can I get a boom from you?
Boom!
That's right. Big Boom AJ set to be at AEW All In Texas.
I know you're hyped about this, Steve.
Yeah. So what is the exact...
So he called out Don Callis' family. I saw that today.
Yes, that's right.
So it's not going to be Takeshita. It's not going to be Kyle Fletcher.
Lance Archer, maybe?
Oh, it's going to be Trent and Rocky, man.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to get to the actual thing. Is it going to be like in the pre-show?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So. Yeah, I believe it'll be the pre-show.
I got the little video here. Dude, I don't know. I'll be honest. I feel like in this short amount of time from when they first showed up in AEW till now, I don't know. Like I had heard of them back then, and I had seen their content. I don't really see a lot of it anymore. I don't know if they're sort of 10 minutes or 15 minutes of fame or up in terms of like relevancy. The digital content sphere these days, especially on TikTok, your relevancy lasts about as long as a TikTok. It's sort of commensurate with the short form nature of the format.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, that's good. If they can, the more eyeballs, more promotion, that's great. Yeah, Rocky and Trent can take a loss to the Costco guys.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but Yeah, I'm always happy to see it. Nothing will beat that first time, though. I think I even did like a live watch along at my Twitch channel of just that match. I was like, I'm just doing this one because you actually had family obligations then. And I'm like, I just want to watch this one match.
Yeah.
It was fun too. Hey, that dude, he used to be obviously an indie wrestler.
Yeah.
He's got the skill set. Oh, here you go.
There you go. Metal Pulse says here, Orange Cassidy being out for another 10 months. I was looking for a source on this or about this particular time frame, and I couldn't find anything. Torn pectoral is what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, just a quick search here. I couldn't find anything else about
let's see here.
That kind of time frame.
1 week ago. What is this? Wrestling Attitude website. Let's see if there's a thing here. Fightful Select. A new report says, oh, get out of here. Oh, an ad for Liquid IV. That's nice. Here, Fightful reports that Cassidy's not expected to be back in the ring anytime soon. I don't see anything more of that. In any event, he's not the youngest dude in the world. I think he's like late 30s, maybe 40 already.
I think maybe what the assumption is that it seems like Sean Ross Sapp mentioned it on a podcast. This is from a Reddit thread I'm reading through here.
Gotcha.
As if it was a new thing. And so people assumed, he got hurt rehabbing his previous injury, therefore another 10 months. But I think that was the injury that took him out to begin with.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
He's 41 years old.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously dude's in phenomenal shape. Every time he takes off his shirt, guy's got abs on abs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, take as long time as it takes, man. The guy's been the staple of AEW for a very long time. And no doubt his return is going to be huge.
Yep.
Especially if they sort of, they don't do it on like a pay-per-view pre-show or Collision, something like that, like a Saturday Collision getting 300,000 views. Don't do that with Orange Cassidy. Bring him back in a major way. And then it'll be huge. It'll be huge.
Yep. And then finally here, Steve, maybe you can enlighten me on this.
Yeah.
Jabroni Town here says Cody's tweet regarding a potential heel turn.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I know he tweeted this out, which a lot of people, including myself, were kind of confused by. He tweeted this 2 days ago. Don't flinch. Thank you all for riding with me all this time. Love you for it. Excited for what we do next.
Oh. Don't flinch.
2 hours ago, he tweeted out just a shout out to Minute Maid because apparently him and Jey Uso are on Minute Maid Fruit Punch and Tropical Punch.
Yeah, those commercials.
Yeah.
That run during Raw.
He's reposting kind words about his latest What Do You Want to Talk About podcast with Ricky Saints. 22 hours ago, he said, so in response to, or sort of quote tweeting, a section of video where him and Saints are talking about what separates a guy from the guy, Cody said, easy to be and easy to spot a carny, quote unquote. Stakes are much higher and the business has grown bigger than ever. We all should be genuine and our best. That doesn't sound like a heel thing to say. Otherwise, yeah, man, hasn't been a lot since then.
All right.
I mean, it's all just retweeting stuff for, his podcast. He's promoting that podcast of his, which I think is always like the number one spot on the pro wrestling stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for the Kevin Owens episode alone, it should be.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, you got to watch that Kevin Owens one. God, it's so funny. Kevin Owens is an absolute, I mean, if we already knew that he was a treasure.
Yeah.
But Kevin Owens is an absolute, he's just great.
He is.
He's just great.
He's the best.
Anyways, we've got a sponsor for the show today, Larson, so let's go ahead and talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Steve and Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Steve?
Yes.
We're pretty fortunate that we don't have to go into an office for work anymore. I can remember times in my life when I wake up in the morning and just absolutely dread the mere thought of going to work. It's a terrible feeling.
Is that in 2018 when we had The Office?
No comment.
Oh, man. Well, regardless, workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the workforce dealing with higher than normal levels of stress. While taking a vacation can be a nice reprieve from the stresses of the workplace, it's not a long-term solution. Therapy can help you navigate whatever challenges the workday or any day can bring.
Back in my mid-20s, I was dealing with some pretty severe anxiety, and it got so bad that it held me back from doing much of anything, including going to work. Eventually, I realized that I had to go to therapy, and therapy allowed me to learn tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety and help me move forward with my life.
With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. BetterHelp is also making therapy far more convenient. You can join a session with a therapist with a click of a button, so you can fit therapy into your busy schedule, and you can switch therapists at any time.
As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. So unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
All right, man, of course, the predictions challenge, everything on the line July this weekend. July the 12th and 13th, I think, is what it is. Yes. If you want to participate in the predictions challenge, go to youtube.com/Steven Larson. You might be watching it right now. Click that join button. It's $5 a month. You also get access to our old bonus episodes and question threads. Or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson. Click on the Friendo Club setup. It's $5 a month to get access to the same shit. The predictions challenge is huge because whoever wins dethrones Steve here, or they get cashed in on by Jack Showtime, who's currently the owner of this Friendo in the Bank attache case right here. A variety of options for Jack Showtime in that case as well. So yeah, this is a huge event. Who will dethrone the current predictions champion, Steve here?
Hopefully it's me.
You just pointed at yourself. You think it's going to be you?
Hopefully it's me. But if I win, I guarantee I'm going to get cashed in on successfully. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but could you imagine that if you're one of those 3-minute champions?
Hey, I'd be a 2-time champion, though.
Honestly, that's like, in my opinion, that's the most ideal outcome, is like you beat me, but then Jack Showtime cashes in on you. That's kind of amazing. You're a 2-timer, but then it's immediately taken away from you. That's huge drama right there.
There would be. It would be massive drama. Drama that make you happy.
It would. Well, now, drama that make me happy would just be me winning and then me fending off Jack Showtime.
Next to that, me winning and then losing would make you...
Yeah, then happy. After that, just because, you're, one of the celebrities here at Going in Raw. It's not even called that anymore. Steven Larson Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, I'm hardly a celebrity, though.
After SummerSlam, what are we going to do about the name of the show?
Got some conversation.
We do have some conversation to have, so we'll talk about it then. Cross that bridge when we get there. All right, man. So, like we said earlier, we have the Go Home Dynamite episode of AEW
Important caveat there.
Bag. I'm going to take a look at AEW's old Twitter account and see if they've got a lineup for tonight. Let's see here. Upcoming events.
Sometimes they have it on their website.
Here we go. Collision. We've got FTR and the Patriarchy versus the Outrunners and Jet Speed.
They promoted that on Dynamite last night.
We got an all-star 8-woman tag. Thunder Rosa, Queen Aminata, Mina Shirakawa, Willow Nightingale versus Athena Tekla, Megan Bayne, and Julia Hart. You got to assume, I think all of them are going to be in that casino.
You would think so, yeah.
Gauntlet. Mystico versus the Beast Mortas.
Oh, that's going to be great.
That's going to be really good, yeah.
That's going to be good.
So those are advertised for tonight.
You'd think, based on the go-home math, assuming if this was the last show that featured any sort of major story beats for the top 2 matches on the card, those being Hangman versus Mox and Mercedes versus Toni Storm, you think it's not looking good for the babyfaces.
Yeah.
However, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Mercedes won at All In.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked about that. I feel like they suddenly dropped this thread, this narrative. Oh, you can't win the big one. I'm like, how many more big ones do you want?
I know she's got 6 belts already.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't huge into the promo between Tony and Mercedes. I felt like there was a little snap missing there. I mean, the eat shit bitch stuff is kind of funny, but
yeah,
it's
that's
like
when it picked up.
It's more just like I don't know, a random vulgarity is funny, but it's not exactly substantive, you know?
Tony had that one good line. You fear living an ordinary life. I fear an ordinary death.
Yeah, some of Tony's lines were good.
Yeah.
In terms of like putting it all together, though, you know, and the whole you have all these titles and they're all masks, and I'm like, I don't know if it's a good idea, but it just didn't really. It's like they were all of a sudden trying to add more to this, and I feel like they didn't really. They should have done this a while ago, you know, because they've had plenty of time. They've been basically building this. Even with other challengers in the way, you know, with the whole Owen and everything like that, or everything after that, I should say.
Well, even during the Owen, how many times did Tony show up either during or after Mercedes matches?
Right. Yeah. And so, you know, they're both they're great personalities and great characters. And I wonder if it's a matter of kind of the difficulty of trying to. You know, the Tony Storm character, the Timeless Tony character, probably not the easiest to figure out stories beyond what they did with Mariah May. Because that obviously was an epic. You know, they had a whole movie as a blueprint, you know? But beyond that, like telling actual stories, it probably isn't like the easiest thing to nail down for a character that's basically like, you know, an old movie star, but a wrestler. But I thought they were doing a fine job with the build. Just, these two unstoppable forces coming at each other. And then they try to add some, you know, some superfluous personal shit last night. And I was like, you know, A for effort, I guess. But it didn't really land with me all that well. But going back to like, you know, in terms of predictions, you got to think both with Tony saying you can't win the big one, which I think to me was the most telling line in terms of like signifying who's going to win this. And you had said before you could see Mercedes winning and then Tony getting the rematch at Forbidden Door, which is she made, you know, her name in the UK. And I thought about this morning when I was watching, or yesterday when I was watching it last night. I wonder if it's possible that because this one is simply for Tony's title, maybe they could do the rematch at Forbidden Door for all the gold.
All 7 titles.
Because Tony having, and I would be so shocked if any of those promotions would be upset with their title being featured in that. But if Tony wins at Forbidden Door, if that's the case, if they do that, and sometimes they just completely go a different route than the logical one, and that's what we're talking about. But if Tony wins all that, you can kind of see Timeless Tony with that goof Butler Luther of hers carrying all the titles in kind of a goofy manner. You can kind of see that.
Yeah.
If that's the route they go. But yeah, given this math here, I could totally see Mercedes. I mean, it was always kind of like a 60-40 Tony thing for me anyways. Now it's like 70-30 Mercedes, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, like the segment ends with Tony looking to hit Mercedes with a Monet Maker. Mercedes escapes, gets out of the ring. Regarding Hangman and Mox, so there was an all-star 8-man tag that saw Shibata, Hobbs, Ospreay, and Page take on Mox, Claudio, and the Young Bucks. Mox chokes out Shibata to get the win. Afterwards, though, is when things went crazy because Gabe Kidd returns. He did earlier, but he comes back to the ring, helps the Death Riders beat down Hangman. Mox gets a piece of chain, looks to choke him. Ospreay, who is selling down ringside, gets back in the ring to try to make the save. He's overwhelmed by the Death Riders too, and then Marina gets in with a couple of the plastic bags.
Yeah.
So the Young Bucks are about to put them over the heads of Hangman and Ospreay when Swerve shows up on the Tron. He's got, I don't know what it's called exactly. It's like a front hoe where it digs. So it's a big, metal claw deal.
Doing a good job with the hand there. That's it looks like that.
So Swerve is one of those things. He uses it to smash up the Young Bucks limo.
It's like one of the Constructicons.
Yes, I think it was maybe. And so he smashes up the limo. Samoa Joe gets in the ring. The babyface is clear the ring of the Death Riders. Hangman puts Mox in the ring and hits him with a discus lariat, looking for a buckshot, but Claudio intercepts him with an uppercut. Hangman drops Claudio with a shot. Paige grabs a hunk of chain. Marina rushes Mox out of the ring, and the Death Riders flee.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Paige standing tall. Again, you have Swerve in an effort to help Ospreay, inadvertently helping Paige, something we saw a couple weeks ago, the inverse of that, where Paige, coming to the aid of Ospreay, I believe, inadvertently makes the save for Swerve too. But just the image of the show ends with Hangman staring at Mox. Swerve and Nana come into the arena to celebrate what happened with Ospreay, and then once Paige realizes that Swerve's there, his focus is on Swerve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, in theory, there, Hangman stands tall to end the segment. If nothing happens at Collision, all right, not looking good for Hangman. You still got Swerve there as that variable, and whether something happens at Collision or not, I still really feel like the go home for what happens with Mox and Hangman is what happens in the Young Bucks tag match against Swerve and Ospreay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Swerve and Ospreay win that,
yeah,
it's not looking good for Paige.
Boy, that'd be weird. That's the weird thing. If Swerve and Ospreay win that, if I don't think there's a chance they win that.
I don't either.
I think they lose that match.
So what I think is going to happen is up until the main event, it seems like, because right now things are going good for AEW, for Team AEW, if you will. They stood tall, and then at All In, there was, I think it was Fightful, talk about the Ops defending the Trios titles against Death Riders. All right, Ops lose those Trios titles. Swerve and Ospreay lose the Young Bucks. Things ain't looking so good for AEW now.
Yeah.
Going into the main event. So the thought process is, Hangman's got no chance.
Mm-hmm.
You got Swerve, Ospreay probably at odds after losing that match. You got the Ops losing their titles. Are they going to come and help him still, even though they just suffer that defeat?
I mean, you look at what they did at WrestleMania, where Seth was sort of dude gave everything he had. Everything to be the hero in the end. And is that going to be kind of, replicated here? Or are we going to get an Empire Strikes Back where it's like, oh my God, this was our one chance. This is our one opportunity. I kind of, I know this is the problem. So I do believe that if if what has been reported is true, and you can look at the Brandon Thurston write-up about the turnaround with AEW, how viewership is starting to stabilize and even turn around and start to grow. If you notice, the attendance seemingly is ticking up a little bit on those weekly shows. They were doing 1,500. Now they're up to about 2,500, 3,000 or so. If you can attribute that to the Death Riders and to just better storytelling, but with Death Riders being more now this year, a more traditional pro wrestling storytelling thing, and not this nebulous, it's not your company anymore. Now it's just Mox is bad guy, and he's got the thing, and everybody wants to get it from him and save AEW, much like the Roman Reigns thing. So, if you can look at that and be okay, well, maybe we can get another year out of it.
I mean, Cody lost the first time.
Yeah.
First attempt.
And if you remember, the reaction to that was nope, they've jumped the shark. Oh, Cody lost. WWE sucks now. Another year of Roman Reigns. But it was huge. They kept on doing massive business. So I wonder if there is a path to Hangman losing and in my opinion, there might be much more interesting stories there. But would the backlash, just the idea, the basic idea of them not pulling the trigger on this, on Mox finally losing, would that online fan sentiment especially, would that overwhelm the potential of some good stories after this? Or are the better stories, Hangman's got the title, his two main dudes can't fight for a year, and there's good stories there, because I think there are too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if business is good with the way things are, it might incentivize Tony Khan to be like, I don't want to do this yet.
Here's another tell. Now, apparently Darby is in line to make a return sometime soon. If he's in that men's gauntlet match and wins it, Hangman's losing. Hangman's losing.
When's the title shot happen for the gauntlet?
I think you can just do whenever you want. That's
it a
how it was when
cash-in
Christian
thing?
had it. Yeah.
Did Christian won the contract as a result of a casino gauntlet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I believe so.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wonder if the men's casino gauntlet is going to be a two-man show. Wouldn't that be wild if they did that? If it was just MJF and Mark Briscoe?
Yeah. They settled it before anybody else came into the ring.
I don't know how much time expires.
So that's interesting. At Dynamite that last night, I think it was Excalibur said, people enter the match at unpredictable increments or something to that effect.
I mean,
wow! No one's gotten the match in the first 10 minutes. MJF wins.
They've got a big ass roster, so clearly there's people that can be in the thing.
Oh yeah,
but like it's gonna be either MJF or Mark Briscoe, unless they leave the ring and take themselves out of it for an actual,
feud down the line
to continue the feud. I guess that's a possibility. I personally still think. And I'm throwing out the Mox win stuff as conversation. I think the best thing they could do is Hangman wins. Brian comes back with his own, bag to do whatever it is he does, maybe to Mox while the ref's not. Well, Texas Death, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So they could do anything they want.
Everybody can get involved. Yeah, there's
you
no
do
rules.
this wildly overbooked shit, get the crowd up huge. Hangman wins. Meanwhile, Swerve and Ospreay on the outside looking in. And then you line up MJF, who wins the casino gauntlet, for Hangman Adam Page. I think a lot of that just makes a lot of sense. You can still do Ospreay versus Mox at Forbidden Door. I mean, I don't know. That might be a interpromotional thing, but they're in London, so.
You can also, if Tony Khan wants Darby to win the title at some point in 2026, he could still feud with Mox. Mox can kind of be the gatekeeper for Darby's entry into the main event scene, because it was Mox that told Darby, you ain't ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Darby has to get past Mox later this year, early next year. All right, he passed that test. Now he can actually go for the world title. That's a distinct possibility. If Tony Khan still is considering Darby for a world title reign.
Do you think there's value to having Mox lose to Hangman and a titleless feud between Mox and Darby?
Yeah, because of that promo leading up to Grand Slam, I believe, when Darby was number one contender. And Mox convinced him to put it on the line and then won the match. And Mox's whole thing was, you're not ready to be a world champion. You don't have the ingredients. Darby comes back from climbing Mount Everest, beats his Mount Everest in AEW Mox. All right, there you go.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also Mox's promo about we don't need to see the AEW championship because I am the AEW championship. Even if he loses to Hangman Adam Page in a wildly overbooked finish or wildly overbooked match, he can still claim, I am still I'm
the mountain that everybody has to climb to prove they're the best.
I'm the standard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the bar. And Darby and him can have an absolute blood feud. And you don't need the title for that. You really don't.
Nope. Not at all.
So yeah, I think that's probably a really good way to go. I still feel like the backstage reporting in terms of Hangman wanting or pushing for Ospreay to win the Owen final, and Ospreay pushing for Hangman to win the Owen final. I think Mox pushing for Hangman. I think. I still feel like that conversation. That just feels like that conversation was who's best suited to beat Mox. We're gonna do this to beat Mox, and I think, dude, you goddamn need that moment now where Mox gets beat, and you just gotta roll with Hangman as your guy, and you can still have Mox as, a big bad, and that'll if you find value in your, from a business perspective with Mox as your big bad, he could be the big bad still, just won't be champion.
Yeah,
they got to do it. They got to do it, man.
They do. I'm sure when they booked this show at the baseball stadium there in Arlington, they were hoping they can draw a crowd, probably, obviously not 80,000, but half that.
Yeah.
40,000. I think they're around 20 now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like for their first huge stadium show in the United States, they kind of have to give the crowd something to really latch onto to finish. And Mox beating Hangman, even if Darby comes back, ain't that.
Mm-hmm.
You need that moment with pyro going off, the streamers, confetti flying down.
Yeah.
Ops in the ring, Ospreay, Swerve there, helping Hangman, Danielson maybe even. You need that.
Yeah.
You need that to end the show, and people feel like, all right, that's money well spent. I'm invested. Because you listen to the crowd the last few weeks, they're invested in Hangman winning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you want to suck the air out of that stadium as quickly as possible, you have Mox win.
They're at 22,257 now.
All right.
Plus, which is 700 ticket increase since this is as of 15 hours ago, and 24 hours before that, they had sold 700 tickets more.
Right.
So
I think it's 25 by the time Saturday rolls around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is big deal for a company.
That's a good crowd. That's a good crowd. I mean, it's going to look it's a good sized stadium.
It is.
Seats
Yeah,
45,000. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, a total number of seats you can get 42. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty typical for a baseball stadium.
So yeah, I mean, especially this is the key also. No Punk. No, take this for what you will. No Cope. No, none of the big WWE names that they've had in the past. No Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
They're rolling with their dudes. I know Mox is main eventing. I get it. He's a former WWE guy, but whatever. But they're doing this with the guys that they're rolling with now. Guys that are going to be there in a year, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah. 10 years maybe even.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see here. We talked about the Hangman Mox stuff.
Mox had a promo early in the show where he just kind of says, hey, Hangman, prove me wrong.
Yeah,
prove me wrong that
much.
You don't have the ingredients to beat me.
And then the Swerve Young Bucks limo thing was very reminiscent of the Austin Attitude Era type stuff.
Yeah.
Where, you got they're about to, did you mention the limo thing specifically?
Yeah.
Okay, you did.
Yeah,
okay.
where he took the front hoe and
yeah.
smashed
Oh, yeah.
it.
Oh, by the way, excavator.
That's what it's called.
Can you guess which Constructicon? This is what I did seriously look this up. So the Constructicons, it was Scavenger, who is an excavator.
Oh. So I think the front hoe piece of machinery has a larger kind of claw thing, but that's as close as I could get to it.
Front hoe.
I'm not well versed in construction equipment. So.
Yeah, no. Tractor front loader backhoe with front loader. You can get one for $18,000 on Amazon.
That thing actually seems like a good deal. One of those is less than a car?
I would drive the shit out of this to Winco.
Heck yeah.
Dude, seeing how many people have those golf cart things, little four-wheel things, man, wouldn't mind getting one of those to drive around town. I tell
I see people driving around the golf carts around here all the time.
Yeah, right. And I'll put my own flags on it. I see a lot of flags on these things. What flags would we put on a Going in Raw? Oh, sorry, Stephen Larson Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Do you still have the banners that we took with us to like StarCast?
Those are thick canvas, man.
They're humongous too.
They're huge.
That would make the most sense, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, we could spring for some new ones.
All right. So we talked about what happened after the main event. So also in the main event segment during that, Young Bucks go and see their limo all smashed up. Prince Nana walks up to him, talks some shit. Young Bucks turn around and Swerve hits him with a stomp off a forklift. And then that's when Swerve and Nana come into the arena to ringside. Swerve gives Ospreay a hug, and that's when Hangman's staring at Mox. And then once Paige notices that Swerve's in there, just stares at him as the show goes off the air.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about this face-to-face between Tony and Mercedes. It was pretty long. Mercedes comes to the ring first, says, Tony, you and I have gotten off on the wrong foot. I wanted this face-to-face. We have a civil conversation. Let's do it. So Tony and Luther show up on the Tron. And Mercedes says, I'm sick of these games you're playing. I'm the master of any game. You're back there hiding. How about you come out here and face me? I promise I won't hurt you too badly. So Tony says, I'm hiding. Hit my music. So she comes to the ring. There's champagne. There's some crap talk back and forth. And it's punctuated by Tony. They cheers.
Champagne.
Yeah. And then as they do that, Tony drinks hers and says, eat shit, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for a Monet maker, but Mercedes escapes and rushes up the ramp.
There were some good lines here.
Yeah.
Because, Mercedes talks about her legacy, and Tony says legacies don't exist. She talks about the line that you mentioned earlier. She says, one day we're going to all turn to dust. We're all going to die. All that matters is one moment you step into the ring and look me in the eye and realize if you fear an ordinary life, but I only fear an ordinary death. And then she says, you'll go down as the woman who just couldn't win the big one. And I'm like, God, Mercedes has won, like...
Look at all those belts she has.
I mean, even in WWE, she, won a lot of world titles there.
Yeah.
But, she made good for that with Eat Shit, Bitch.
Yeah.
We had a really fun Omega Okada recap. God damn. This is going to be a good match.
It is. Okada's saying to Kenny, I might even kill you.
Yeah. Okada's lines were great in this thing. It was really well filmed, too. They did a good job with this.
It was. They filmed some new kind of promo stuff, intercut with, of course, footage from the entirety of their rivalry with some older, promo stuff from the build. It was really good.
So you remember how, people used to call it the Jericho Vortex?
Yeah.
Yeah. MJF has his own vortex. It's called the Talks Too Goddamn Much Vortex. Whenever he's in a feud,
talk too much.
Dude, when he's in a feud with somebody, MJF comes to the ring in his suit and his scarf. He gets in the corner, and you just got to sit back and let the words flow all over you, man.
The best part about this segment is before it happened, when they teased it, they had the graphic in the corner, and it has the picture of MJF and Mark Briscoe, and it says literally "talky talk." And that was pretty funny. But they were leaning into
that they know, they understand. Yeah.
That it's fun. It's silly. It's and however, this thing is super long. You get MJF talking shit about Mark.
Calls
Mark's
him poor. Mark says you're
all right.
You're even Mark Briscoe, who's a terrific promo. You can tell this was too much talky talk for him because he would say some lines and then he'd have to reset himself. He was like, you're morally bankrupt. You got no soul. He was like, but I know, and you're also predictable. I know what you're going to do. You're going to talk about my brother. And so MJF says, whoa, hold on a second. And he really talks up Jay. He says, but Jay, he's up in heaven. He deserves a spot up there. But I know the problem is he's looking down and he's, seeing how you've basically ruined the legacy of the Briscoes. He's like, you're a piece of shit. And then, the punctuating line is, we all realize that it shouldn't have been him in that accident. It should have been you. Well, that sets off Mark, takes him down, big brawly brawl. And then that brings down everybody. So the Hurt Syndicate comes down, of course, because Mark is looking for a J Driller on MJF. Jet Speed shows up. They attack Hurt Syndicate. The Patriarchy come to ringside. They help out laying out Hurt Syndicate. Christian hits Lashley with a concerto to Lashley's leg a couple times. And in the ring, Speedball hits Shelton with a spin kick. Knight follows with a UFO splash. Oh, confidence points on Hurt Syndicate.
You know, they tried and did an all right job of making Hurt Syndicate look vulnerable here. Because earlier in the show, Hurt Syndicate's backstage. MJF has an interview talking about the talkie talk. And MVP's like, hey, we got a photo shoot to do with the tag titles. We're going to go handle our business. You handle yours. And so they kind of go around the corner. And you hear like an exclamation, what's going on? And then there's something written on the whiteboard from Jet Speed saying, hey, we took your titles and the titles are missing. Mm-hmm. So when Jet Speed comes and attacks Hurt Syndicate, the first thing they do is blast them from behind with the tag titles.
Yeah.
So in terms of having Hurt Syndicate actually face some odds here, having to defend against two teams, making them look a bit vulnerable, it was a pretty decent job. Mm-hmm. Pretty decent job.
The match before the main event saw Samoa Joe take on Wheeler Yuta. Joe ends up tapping out Wheeler Yuta with a Coquina clutch. Gabe Kidd hits the ring, attacks Joe. He's back in AEW. He's the...
He's teaming with Claudio and I guess the idea, if for the trios titles is that he'll team with Claudio and Wheeler
because Pac is still out. But isn't he the current New Japan?
Was it international? No, what is there? Global champion?
Is it global champion? Who's the never champion right now?
You know, my default would have been Goto, but he was just world champion.
He was just world champion. The current champ is... Oh, wow. It's Bolden Oleg.
Oh, that's right.
That's
he
cool.
Beat Takeshita for it.
Okay. All right.
Takeshita had it. That's right.
All right. There you go.
I did remember reading about that.
Yeah.
So we found out who gets the number 2 spot in the Women's Casino Gauntlet. We had a 4-way match between Megan Bayne, Tekla, Queen Aminata, and Ty Mello. This match was a lot of fun. Megan Bayne kind of steals a win here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have
global. Gabe Kidd is the global champion. He just beat Suji for it.
Okay, that's right. So Tekla rolls up. Queen Aminata gets a 2 there, and then Aminata boots Tekla. Penelope Ford tries to get involved, but Anna Jay kind of thwarts her. They start throwing hands. And then Megan Bayne hits Aminata with a flying clothesline, running powerbomb to get the win. Shortly thereafter, Tekla's got an interview backstage with Renee. But right as Renee is asking her a question, Tekla is attacked by Queen Aminata. Security comes and pulls them apart, and then Mark steps in and says, MJF, you said something that really fired me up. I'm going to win that gauntlet match.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We also had Bandito and Takeshita facing off ahead of Supercard of Honor. Because that's the match. That's the world title match, right?
It is Bandito versus Takeshita, yeah.
So we had Bandito and Brody King taking on Callis family members, Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. You like Takeshita's odds at Supercard of Honor?
No, because he pinned Bandito in this match to get the win. I don't know if Takeshita should be taking a whole lot of losses. No disrespect to Bandito. Bandito's really good.
Is there a go-home Ring of Honor between now and then
there could be.
Turn the tides, maybe?
There could be.
Because
there would be one tonight, I guess, because it's on Thursdays, right?
Takeshita should win that match.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, he's main roster.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a big deal.
He's pretty powered up.
He's really powered up.
Yeah. So, Raging Fire, preceded by a forearm, gets Takeshita the win. It's a really fun match, though.
Yeah.
The Outrunners, they're not done with FTR, so they got a promo and say they were this close to beating FTR. They prove that we'll never give up and we'll never quit. This ain't over. They're going to team up with Jet Speed against FTR and the Patriarchy on Collision tonight, Thursday. So after commercial break, we get an interview with Patriarchy and FTR. So she asks Christian about the tag match on Collision. And Christian says, I could run down all of FTR's accomplishments, but we don't have that much time. He says, I expect nothing but success. He says, I like where your head's at, FTR. Going into Collision all in, hey, if you scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours when we become tag champs. So Stokely says, massive miscarriage of justice that FTR is not in the tag title match at All In. And he says, but none of that is your fault, Christian. As far as All In goes, we'll be there. We'll be watching. But as far as any back scratching. We'll see how tomorrow night goes.
Yeah. FTR going to get in that tag title match at All In?
No, I'd be pretty surprised.
Wait, what are they do? Are they not doing anything at All In?
That's a good point. You think they'd be an All In?
You think they'd be
Maybe
an
they
All
will
In?
be.
They should take on the Costco guys.
There you go.
Just fucking wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, pre-show, just like shatter machine, shatter machine, shatter machine.
Spamming shatter machine. Oh, man. And then, of course, what should have been the main event, Vanilla Baby. From what I understand, Blake Christian's talked about the possibility of Tony Khan licensing the Jack Harlow song that...
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he's got that YouTube supercut, which I've watched way too many times. I want that Blake Christian. But this was babyface Blake Christian.
Yeah, because Lee Johnson got laid out by Gates of Agony, who are Ricochet's crew now.
It's the crew. The crew isn't the crew. It's his new. These are Gates of Agony. They're the crew now.
Yeah.
That should have been the crew.
It should have been, because that's the scene like it was going to be. Ricochet's like, I'm looking for a crew. So Ricochet gets the win here. Of course, Gates of Agony get involved. Ricochet hits a spirit gun, follows with Vertigo to get the win. Then afterwards, Gates of Agony hit the ring and absolutely destroy Blake Christian with their finisher.
Yeah, boy.
Just annihilate him.
Very sad for me. Hated it.
Yeah, as well as Blake Christian does in Ring of Honor, he does just as poorly on main roster AEW.
Well, I think he'll get there. I feel like if Tony Khan plunks down some money for his theme music, then I'll have no choice but to give him a big 2025 push.
You'd think so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It better happen. I needed to be on that Tony Khan call, the press call, so I could be like, Tony Khan, can you give me a solid 25 minutes talking about the joys and benefits of Blake Christian, Vanilla Baby? And when can we expect?
And you'll be able to see him, but he was just doing this the whole time.
All right, we're going to play a fun game before we get into NXT, because I have it up here. I have a current list of all the New Japan champions, Larson.
All right. You see if I know who they are.
We're going to pop quiz you, baby.
All right. Well, I know Zack Sabre Jr. is the World Heavyweight Champion.
And we've already told you who the global champion is.
Yeah, that's Gabe Kidd. Yeah, I know you just said that Bolton Oleg is the never openweight champion.
So I've already spoiled a bunch of these for you. Now, who is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion? I'll give you a hint. This guy defeated Dookie at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, was it Despy? El
Very
Desperado.
good. Very good. Yeah, man.
It was either him or Master Wato. I can't remember who it was.
And let me just tell everybody, Larson's going to do a better job of this than I would have already forgotten Bolton Oleg. All right. Who is the Goto champion? Who's the strong open... Oh, shit. No, this isn't the Goto championship. This is the strong openweight championship. Remember they had that American promotion strong? I don't know if it's still a thing or not. I don't think it's a thing anymore. But there is a championship still. I'm going to give you a little hint here.
All right.
Goto, but not Goto.
Is it Yoshihashi?
No, I wouldn't put Yoshihashi at this level. But who's like one of the most dependably New Japan guys?
Oh, Ishii.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one I was surprised by and really happy to see because he's been through some health stuff.
LP.
The New Japan World Television Champion. Yeah. He defeated the Great O'Karn at Wrestling Heizen no Kuni.
All right.
We've got some tag team championships as well.
Oh, gosh.
Who is the current IWGP tag team champion?
Is it Good Brothers?
No. It's Tomohiro Ishii, who's a double champion.
Oh, wow.
And Tai Chi.
Okay.
Random as hell.
Once like all the major factions in New Japan kind of broke up, went their separate ways, like I don't know who's aligned with who now.
Well, I'm going to give you a big old hint for this one.
All
the
right.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. All you got to do is give me the faction name, and it's the greatest thing in pro wrestling.
House of Torture.
See, this is why back when we did like Quizlemania, we were always so good at the give your partner a hint
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
The strong openweight tag team championships.
Oh gosh.
Call
Good
eight,
brothers.
call 1-888-2300.
Empire today.
United
So
Empire.
That's, but is it Akira and
No.
Great O'Khan?
TJP and Templario.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
then-
right. Templarios and
The House of Torture crew that have the junior tag is Sho and Doki.
all right.
And then there are this is
How
the
come
last.
Sonata doesn't have any titles?
This is the last one. I know. I got to send you that video of him in that funny outfit. The Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Championships. This is the most.
6-man tag.
This is the most random thrown together.
War Dogs.
Master Watto,
All right, he is a champion.
Yano,
All right,
and Yo.
that's an interesting team.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. There's also something called the New Japan Tamashi Tag Team Championships. And it's the Pretty Boys, Magic Mark and Pretty Richie. Is that like their vanity project?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What a great segue to NXT, Steve, because we saw the Vanity Project on NXT. Before we talk about this week's NXT, we're not doing a separate episode on NXT Great American Bash predictions. We're going to do them right now. We're going to do them about 2 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Let's do
Because
it.
I feel like most of these are gimmies. So let's start with this one. Javon Evans taking on Jasper Troy. Who
Javon
do you got,
Evans,
Steve?
all the
How many
confidence.
confidence points?
All.
5?
Yeah.
You got more on this one than Obafemi winning?
Oh, shit. No. 4.
All right.
4.
I'm going to say 2. I'm just more confident of other matches.
Okay.
On Javon.
I have no
wins,
idea
2
what the
confidence
matches
points.
are beyond what you just said.
Next up, North American Falls Count Anywhere match, Ethan Page against Ricky Saints.
I don't know. This is loser goes to Maine, though.
Yeah, so I got 1 on Ricky Saints.
Yeah, I put 1 on. Man, but Ricky was in Cody's bus. I'm put 1 on Page.
All right. Sol Ruka
Saul Ruka.
defends the North American title against Izzy Dame. I got a 3 on Sol Ruka.
2 on Izzy Dame.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I
They're
think
really
that
pushing the culling right
they
now.
really like the culling right now, dude.
They do.
Hey, by the way, the culling have a shockingly good theme song. I don't know about the whole lining up like it's a Queen album thing, but and I don't know about that either with Sean Spears.
To me, he's always cold.
Or he's cradling Invisible Baby.
Could be.
Yeah, but I
That'd
think
be more
Izzy
like
Dame,
this.
I could see them bringing some gold to culling.
Yeah. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe teaming up against JC Jane and Fallon Henley.
Oh, fucking 4 on the good guys there.
You already used your 4, so you have to be 2.
What did I put my 4 on? Oh, I'll put
On
4 on
Javon.
this, 3 on Javon.
All right, yeah, 4 on Jordan and Blake winning because Jordan's not winning that title. And then 5 on Oba beating Inamura.
Yeah, 5 easy right there. Boy, people had some. I was kind of criticizing over WrestleJuice, the Great American Bash thing. I was like, really, Obafemi versus Inamura? And people were like, what are you talking about? Inamura's great. He is great. I love Inamura.
Yeah, he's
It's
great.
a television match. Anyways. So, yeah, Ricky Saints. He ran the Vanity Project gauntlet. Do you like the Vanity Project?
I don't know enough about him.
Yeah, neither do I.
I mean, the whole swipe right gimmick ain't for me.
Yeah, it's
As
kinda
far
like-
as in-ring talents, I think, what's his name, Jackson Drake? He was a lot of fun to watch in this match.
Yeah, apparently he did some time with Javon Evans in Deadlock, I think, was his gimmick, was his deal. I think he was there, and so he's like one of the names that NXT scooped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other two, what's there's the Brad guy.
There's Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes.
Brad Baylor, I think, has a future. He's got
Yeah.
that Luger face. You can't,
He kind of looks like Shane Douglas.
and he kind of it's like Luger, Shane Douglas, and like Johnny from Karate Kid.
Yeah, but yeah, his vibe is very 80s movie villain. Yeah.
I feel like you can go places if he can go places if he bulks up. He needs to get with Hammerstone and figure out how to bulk up. That dude has got muscle on muscle. I saw a little backstage like digital thing with him and MJF reuniting because they used to be part of
an MLW, yeah.
an MLW, yeah, that faction. And it's like, God damn, Hammerstone is just he's so
Yeah,
big.
he's massive.
Yeah,
He's
he's a
massive.
big dude. But yeah, the other guys, look, maybe they'll all be fucking WrestleMania main eventers in 20 years. I don't know. But Ricky Smokes, it's very like wrestly, you know?
Yeah.
It goes for the pin. Oh, it does it's also,
I know.
It doesn't feel.
You can tell, even though they've been through some time at the Performance Center, they're still, and this isn't shade by any stretch of the imagination, it's just different watching WWE TV. Mm-hmm. They still at times work like indie wrestlers.
Yeah. But yet they're young. They're like, what, fucking 15 years old, so who knows?
Yeah, they're like 19 or 20 or something like that.
They'll be great. By the time we retire, they'll be WrestleMania main eventers.
By the time we retire? I ain't retiring anytime soon, buddy.
In 20 years from now, I don't know if we're going to have a choice. A couple of super grizzly old men.
Hey, man, Meltzer's still doing it.
Yeah, you know, if you keep on getting into Meltzer shape and then I'm able to, you know, to get into shape a little bit. Hey, I'm at my wedding weight right now.
Wow.
When they got married. You know, I checked on the scale this morning. I went
I want
swimming
to see
last
if
night.
you ever get down to like 1996 Steve weight.
I don't know if the wife will let me get that thin. Then you know what I'll be, Larson? Baby boy.
You would be.
Oh man. So yeah, Ricky Saints did that, and then he said, "I'm gonna dog walk your ass in a falls count anywhere match."
Yep. We had Obafemi and Inamura face to face. So first we got a video package about Inamura winning the match last week against Jasper Troy, and we got some Pro Wrestling Noah talent wishing him well.
Yeah, that was nice.
Muda was in there, and Marufuji.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Some others. So later on, Briggs and Inamura come to the ring. Oba makes his entrance after them. Inamura tells Oba that you wondered if I had grit. Well, I beat Jasper Troy just like I beat Trick. Oba will be the greatest challenge, but I'm ready. The fans, Briggs, and my friends all support me. Now I'm going to make them proud at Great American Bash. I'm going to fight with honor, and I'll become the new NXT champion. Oba's like, oh no. At least you got the support of your fans and friends. Maybe they'll be the ones to pick up the pieces when I beat you. This Saturday, you asked yourself if you could lose. This Saturday, ask yourself if you can lose with honor. You're not worthy of taking this title. So then Briggs, I don't know what he's doing. He takes the mic from Inamura. The crowd boos him. And he tries to pretty much say, all right, Inamura is too polite to say this, but he's gonna beat your ass at Great American Bash and be the next NXT champion. And Oba tells Josh, hey, this ain't your fight. Get Briggs out of my face. So then Briggs takes a swing at Oba. Oba clotheslines him out of the ring, and then Inamura hits Oba with a spinning body slam. Refs come out to break it up. So
when Briggs says, I'm a man of honor, I'm sorry. He was like, Inamura is a man of honor, but I am not.
He says, I'm a man of mayhem.
Is Briggs going to cost Inamura this title?
I mean, I kind of feel like Oba should win this match clean. Yeah,
he should. That should happen. But I could see Briggs costing him this.
Inadvertently, yeah.
Inadvertently, yeah. Yeah. But then, you know, Inamura's like, hey, you fucking cost me this. And then Briggs gets mad and he, you know, fucking decks him and they have a feud.
Then they feud. Yeah.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Man, oh man. You know, I saw on Twitter before I watched this next stuff, somebody complained, said, I can't believe they're putting Mariah May through this shit on NXT. You know, how could she have gone over there? And I'm like, you know, it's not like her title run. It's not like anything she did outside of the Tony stuff was all that great. But boy, oh boy, they do this corny ass shit, this filmed corny sitcom-y bullshit. And me personally, I just don't think it does anybody any favors. This is literally the stuff, and I haven't felt this way in a little while, where I'm like, God, I hope nobody walks in while I'm watching this because it's so hokey. So Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe do a bit where they glow up for Great American Bash. Try to get on the same page by doing cheesy shit that Blake Monroe wants to do. You know, getting massages and pedicures and, you know, going shopping for clothes or whatever. And it's just, it's so fucking hokey, dude. I can't with this kind of shit.
It's just very one note.
I know. And it's obvious Jordynne Grace is not comfortable acting. You know, she's so terrific in the ring, and I think she can drop a really genuine promo.
Yeah.
But when you're doing this stuff, it's just either you've got that sort of, you know, television comedic timing or you don't. And it's like you can't force certain people into this kind of stuff and expect good things to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is the kind of shit what NXT does sometimes, and it's like, oh, please stop doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't think everything has to be like serious. You could do comedy like this and it can work sometimes, but it's just, I don't know.
I feel like there's got to be more layers to it, though.
Yeah.
Like if this was the thing, but this was kind of, I don't know, a bit of a facade that Blake puts out there, you know, to get in good with people. But there's something going on underneath that's a little, I don't know, menacing about her or something.
Yeah.
Then maybe that'd be actually interesting.
Yeah, there's got to be at least some irony to these things, you know?
Or that too, yeah.
And it's just, or what you're talking about, it's just bereft of that stuff. And it's like, oh, God, is that what they see in Blake Monroe?
Yeah, it's just too one note.
It is.
So anyways, at the end of all that, Jordan says, you know, hey, I kind of like this. First, we win at Bash, and then I win at Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
We got Santana and Joe Hendry teaming up against the High Rise.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Trick gets involved, Wesley gets involved. Doesn't matter. Santana pins DuPont after hitting the discus clothesline. Trick hits the ring, hits Santana with the discus kick. Hendry hits the ring to make the save, but then he and Santana are beat down by High Rise and Trick, and then Trick hits Hendry with a trick shot.
So their road to Slammiversary continues.
Yeah, that's not for another couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a week from this weekend, I think. Or maybe it's 2 weeks. Maybe it's 2 weeks.
So we also had the Evolution Battle Royal Summit, where Ava hosts. And she's like, you know, I remember watching the first Evolution back in 2018. She's all the women on those cards continue to push the business forward. And NXT.
She announces the 6 women participants.
Yeah.
Sorry, the 6 participants from the women's division. They're going to be in the Battle Royal, yeah.
So first she said, obviously, Sol and Zarya are going to be in the tag match. Jordan and JC are on the card. And then we've got Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley are all going to be in the Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
None of whom are going to win this thing.
Nope. It's either Nikki Bella or Stephanie Vaquer.
Yep.
Because then we have first is Fatal Influence, and then Lash Legend, Jordan Grace, Stephanie, Natalia, and Maxine. They all come out and kind of state their case to win the Battle Royal. Jada Parker's in the crowd. And eventually, like, I don't know, you'd assume most of the field for this Battle Royal is ringside.
Yeah.
Because I know Candice was out there, Ivy Nile, Lola Vice. You know, there was probably 20 people in the ring when the brawl breaks out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then you have Tatum and Izzy. They're watching from the ramp.
Yeah. We also had Kalani Jordan and Laney Reed in a match. So we're in the locker room. Zarya and Sol Ruka are talking to Kalani and Lola backstage. Zarya's talking about their tag title opportunity. Sol says, I'm going to retain against Izzy at the Gab. And then Laney Reed comes in and starts talking all sorts of shit. Kalani Jordan, who I'm still not sure if she's a good guy or bad guy. In this situation, she seems like kind of a good guy.
Yes.
Lola Vice, they talk shit back to her, which kind of, you know, they're making a good point here, but it kind of feels, it's kind of rude. They're like, why are you talking so much shit? You haven't won anything, which is totally true, but it also is like, oh, yeah, you know, she's a loser. And then...
losing wrestler.
Yeah, losing wrestler. Kalani and Lola stand up. Kalani's like, you should be worried about Thea Hale because you cheated last week. And then Reed's like, you know, I should be in that Battle Royal. Kalani's like, well, you're not. Let's have a match. So they had a match. Sure enough, Laney Reed's a loser. She lost this match to Kalani Jordan.
That split-legged moonsault was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, my God. There was a lot going on there.
So Kalani's standing on the second rope in the corner, jumps, turns, 180 in midair, and then does the split-legged moonsault.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You have to hit that perfect, not to kill yourself there.
Yeah, she had a lot of momentum going with that too.
Yeah, it was a snap. After the match, Thea Hale runs in the ring, attacks Laney. They brawl to the back, so that feud continues. This was my segment. This is my match of the night. This cracked me up. So we got Tavion Heights taking on Charlie Dempsey, and it's for his exit from No Quarter Catch Crew. If
These
Tavion
contracts.
wins,
Someone's got to take Charlie Dempsey to court over these contracts. They seem
sketch.
Yeah,
Definitely sketchy. Definitely sketchy. So this Dempsey just fucking wrecks this dude's leg. So he traps his leg. This is so shady. He traps his leg between the ring post and the steps, and he goes up the steps and he starts stomping on his leg. Yeah. And then he just proceeds to try to end this dude's career by just completely annihilating his leg and his knee. And then eventually, Dempsey, after working over this leg endlessly, starts twisting up Tavion Heights and all sorts of, leg submissions. And then Ren Sinclair, doing her best Trent Seven impression, throws in the white towel. This poor guy, Tavion Heights is stuck, and now he's looking at his teachers like, God, this guy just tried to end my career out there rather than let me go from my contract. It's like one of them old machinima contracts, dude. They get a $1 billion contract for the No Quarter Catch Crew. Oh, man.
And then after that, also we had Hank and Tank Honk Honk defending the tag titles. So they're backstage talking about their match, the title defense against the Culling. And then Lexus King's in the background just pacing around.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. So anyways, Javon Evans steps in and says, Colin is tried to lay you out tonight. You get your lick back on him. And then Jasper Troy runs in, just pounces Javon Evans to the garage door behind them, and then just smashes him up against it.
Hank and Tank do a terrible job keeping him away from Javon, too, because they're like, hey, what are you doing? And then he's able to break free really easily and just ram his knee into Javon's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, Hank and Tank, you guys are terrible.
So we got a calling segment where they're welcoming Tatum Paxley. And as he says, thanks to you, Nico and Spears got a tag title match. Nico says Hank and Tank are going to regret accusing us of attacking them. Because apparently we learned later it was Dark State.
Yeah. Oh, that might have been my favorite bit in the whole thing, Dark State. Do we have that? Okay, we did. You put them last. Oh, no. Dark State have fallen to the final segment for us for our NXT review.
So he gets really fired up. Spears is like, calm down. For now, we need to stay focused on our goals. And Izzy says, you're going to win the tag titles tonight, and on Saturday, we win the North American title. So we had that match next. Spears and Nico challenging Hank and Tank Honk Honk for those tag titles. Not go the Culling's way.
Nope.
Because Spears kind of gave himself up, so Nico didn't get hit with the honk honk. And then Hank and Tank falls with their finisher to get the win.
How long do you think it'll be before Tatum Paxley realizes that she's hanging out with a bunch of assholes?
It could happen as soon as Saturday.
Could be. Then we had Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy, booked for the Great American Bash. So Javon is getting checked out by the trainers in the medical room. Once again, Jasper Troy rushes and attacks him. Later on, Jasper comes to the ring, says, I'm done with him. Ava, make the NXT title match a triple threat. So Javon Evans runs to the ring, starts brawling with Troy, super kicks him out of the ring, takes him out with a dive to the floor. So, sorry, Jasper Troy, you're not finished with Javon Evans. And in fact, I think at NXT Great American Bash, you will lose to Javon Evans.
Yeah. So, D'Angelo family, the implosion is complete.
Yeah.
So, we got to sit down with Tony, Luca, and Stax. Rizzo organized the whole thing. Says, I called this sit down when I was at the safe house and watched y'all lose focus on what we accomplished in NXT. Tony and Staxy built the legacy in NXT, brought me in, brought Luca in, and then you destroyed it all. And Tony, you didn't want to sit down. You don't want to sit down with Stax and resolve this, and look at this now. There's no saving this. There's one more piece of family business. Once trust is broken, doubt creeps in, it just doesn't work. So she said, I did what I had to do and got them a triple threat match next week. She said, I can't guarantee if our paths will cross again. This is WWE after all, but as far as I'm concerned, this is their final battle, not Ring of Honor final battle.
This is our Supercard of Honor.
Yeah. They're all in on this being the last match between the three of them. So Stacks is all, this is a setup. Rizzo, you're setting me up. It's going to be me against Luca and Tony. And Tony says, that's typical rat behavior. And Stacks like, I grew so I was, more important than the rest of the family. Next week I'm going to prove it. And Tony gives Stacks a week before you lose that Heritage Cup. And Luca says, if I am going to move forward in NXT, I need to get out of Tony's shadow.
I feel like Luca's the one guy who should win this. I don't think he's going to. Who do you think is going to win this match?
Maybe Rizzo's going to come in and wonk the finish, and then she stands tall.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And then they have a finaler battle. Finalist battle.
Yeah.
Cale Dixon doesn't have a match. It says,
Cale, he was scared.
Cale and Uriah are in the trainer's room. Cale says,
because he was supposed to wrestle Jasper Troy.
Yes,
Wasn't
that's
that?
right.
Yeah, he was scared. Yeah.
This is probably the most Steve-coded segment. This would be me. I ain't going out there. He says, my blood pressure's through the roof. He says, please, Mr. Chase, don't make me go out there. I can't do this. Chase is like, all right, you don't have to do this. We'll figure this out together. That'd be me. That'd be me. Yeah, I'd be like, I don't want to go out there. That guy's going to kill me. And then Chase will be like, how old are you again? I'm like, really old, man.
Well, that's part of the reason I'm scared to go out there.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're going to have a Chase U representative shit themselves in front of everybody out there. And I'm wearing these white pants for some reason.
Yeah. So, Dark State, we get another promo from them. They kicked this off with, it's Dion Lennox, and then...
Coupler James!
Talk James. So apparently they attacked Matt Cardona in TNA.
Yeah, why aren't we watching TNA, man? We could have seen Dark State. Woo.
Coupler James says, we got to keep an eye on that tag match. And they more or less admitted in this that they are the ones that attacked Honk Honk Hank Tank.
Yeah. Doing nothing with these guys.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
Man. Oh, boy, that was funny. Anyways, you want to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions. Go Birds here asks, do you think the fact that Swerve and Hangman haven't made up makes it less likely that Hangman will win? No, it makes it more. Because Swerve needs to be put in the position where he has to make that decision. Yep.
He's got to lose to the Young Bucks and then show up and help Jon Moxley lose to Hangman Adam Page.
Exactly.
Dave Matushak says, considering that Goldberg said that only Braun Breaker should be his successor in terms of using the spear, what other wrestlers should give their blessings to in terms of finishing moves? I mean, that's the one thing I agree with Goldberg on, is Braun should be the only person using the spear.
Mm-hmm. Lashley has a good spear.
Yeah, but it pales in comparison these days. Look, man, if it ain't Braun, it shouldn't be done.
Like Cope shouldn't do a spear. His spear is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. What's another iconic finishing move?
That wasn't even Goldberg's finisher. Who is Goldberg going to allow to use the jackhammer?
Well, given that the jackhammer these days is a simple suplex, I mean, everybody uses that.
As executed by 58-year-old Bill Goldberg, yes.
Okay, so let's pivot the question. Who should get the jackhammer?
Yeah, that's the question I want to have answered. Braun Breaker.
Well, I mean, isn't a jackhammer is a form of...
It's a suplex into a power slam is what it is.
No, I'm saying the actual jackhammer. Use that to, bust up concrete.
Otis, you're saying. It's construction equipment, heavy machinery, Otis.
I was going to say, or Swerve, because he was just using construction machinery.
Okay, yeah.
He was using a scavenger, an excavator. Front load. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Art Guy says, with there being so much wrestling this weekend, how do you plan to watch All In? He says, I know you guys are doing an all-in stream, but what about the rest? Oh, I'm sorry. How do you plan to watch it all? Sorry, I saw the word all there. So this is what we're going to do. All In, we're going to watch live Saturday at noon Pacific. Mm-hmm. Then sometime between the finish of our review and Monday, we're going to watch...
the other
Saturday
4.5
night's main
hours.
event and Evolution.
Sorry, 5 hours. 5.5 hours, maybe, yeah.
Right. So those two shows. And then Monday, we're going to do our review.
I'll probably watch Saturday night's main event in the morning on Sunday, and then Sunday evening I'll probably watch Evolution.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. Well, yeah.
Because honestly, Saturday night's main event, yeah, it's a 2-hour show. It'll really only take about 45 minutes to watch the whole
It ain't going to take a lot of time. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Marcus Louie here asks, who has the best finisher in wrestling right now? Marcus names Sol Ruka's Soul Snatcher. Yeah, that's a great finisher.
That is a great. That's probably one of the only finishes where I'm always like, oh goddamn,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Best finisher in wrestling right now.
I'd give it to that. I don't
Yeah.
watch New Japan though. Maybe there's probably somebody there who's got some cool finish.
LP's Loaded Boot.
Yeah, I did like Ludwig's loaded mask headbutt finish.
Yeah. Phantom Driver asks, who from NXT would it be a better fit in AEW and vice versa?
From NXT would be a better fit. Oh, who's the best wrestler in NXT?
Javon Evans?
That's where my head went to. Probably Javon Evans. I don't think that's going to happen though. He said, what did he say Tony Khan was?
Crackhead.
Well,
Isn't that what he called him?
I wasn't just imagining that, right? Because that's where
No,
my
I
head
believe
went
he
too. I
called-
was like,
I
he called him a
believe-
crackhead, didn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Damn, that's rough. Can't be burning bridges like that, professionally speaking. Yeah, make sure we got that right because I thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, call him a crackhead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Imagine if I called Bill WrestleTalk a crackhead. You know, it's like, what if at some point, you know, something happens with us or Larson gets a really good job offer with the state and then I'm on my own. I'm like, you know, I'll move to the UK. My sister might be moving there soon. You know, but I already called Bill WrestleTalk a crackhead.
No job opportunities for you there.
You know, Bob Cultaholic called him a crackhead.
Out of luck, Steve.
No job offers there.
Doors slammed in your face.
Yeah, man. They be like, oh, Gabby. And they do this shit. Damn, Bill WrestleTalk, really? Oh, none of you.
Called crackhead. I mean,
You
what do
called
expect?
me a crackhead. You bellend.
Brian here says, if you had the book, who would the Hurt Syndicate be facing it all in? Tag Team Gauntlet.
Oh.
They would have to run through the entire tag division in one show.
I'd sack up, have him beat FTR
Yeah.
in a really good match.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yep.
Let's see here. Kyle says, if Darby Allin returns at All In, should he attack Mox, continuing that story? Or should he attack Hangman for taking a spot? Or should he attack both and be stopped by Danielson? Nah. This is what he should do. All In. Hangman Adam Page. Stands tall. Everybody celebrates him like he's Lex Luger beating Yokozuna by count.
But he actually won something.
But he actually won something. And then the rafters. Darby's up there. Oh, Darby's in the rafters. Robin Hood's up next. And then they they fade out.
Yeah. Not because Robin Hood's next, but because their pay-per-view times. A lot of pay-per-view times ending.
Right. Yeah.
Alex Foster says, does a face-off between the D'Angelo family make it more likely that at least one of them is headed to Maine?
No, I was thinking about that actually during their face-off. I was like, none of these guys are ready for main roster.
So what it is, Rizzo's going to see the outcome of the match and says, y'all suck, I'm going to main roster.
Rizzo is ready for main. At least as a character. I forget what it's like for her to wrestle. But at least for a character, she's ready for main. She needs to go to Maine, start her own family, the Rizzo family.
Mm-hmm.
None of these other guys really belong on main roster, man. Sorry to say.
Not at this juncture, no.
Charlie Black says, who do you see becoming world champion first? Julia, Roxanne, or Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Roxanne.
Stephanie.
Art Guy says, what is the lock of All In? Art Guy thinks it's Mercedes winning. The lock of All In is the Costco guys winning. Are you kidding me?
Well, on the main card, it's Hurt Syndicate retaining the tag titles.
Oh, dude, I don't know, man.
What's the lock then?
The lock? The lock is... Oh, shit. Is there a lock?
Young Bucks winning? Adam Cole retaining that TNT title?
No, I think Fletcher might win that shit, man.
Oh, really? Adam
I don't
Cole
know
just
what
won
the
that,
go on
though.
is. What?
Adam Cole just won that not that long ago.
Oh, Fletcher's ready, though.
Oh, I don't disagree. Fletcher's great.
Lock. Gosh darn. The lock. Bro. No, that's not a lock.
They've done a pretty good job of putting doubt in your mind about who's going to win some of these matches, huh?
Hey, no kidding. The lock.
I'm going to have to watch Collision tonight before Saturday.
Okay, what are the matches, bro? We got Hangman Mox.
So there's
we got
the
Tony
there's the
Mercedes.
2 gauntlet match. There's a tag title match.
Yeah.
Cole and Fletcher, Young Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay, Tony versus Mercedes, Okada Omega, and then the main event.
There ain't no luck. God damn, this is an unpredictable card.
The closest thing to a lock is Hurt Syndicate retaining those titles, though.
Here's my hot take lock. MJF's a lock to win the Casino Gauntlet.
You're going to put 8 confidence points on MJF winning that?
I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do.
Well, you better decide, because we're doing our predictions after this.
Fuck. It
Right
might
after.
be my 8. Fuck. My 8 might be on Hangman.
Interesting.
Shit. I don't know about Mercedes Tony. I think it's going to be Mercedes, but dude, I don't know if I'll go higher
Yeah,
than
it's a
like
bit of a
5.
toss-up.
Yeah. Yeah. Ospreay Swerve might be. Are you gonna put 8 on Hurt Syndicate? Yeah. There's a little preview for our AEW All In.
I got a surprising pick to win the women's Casino Gauntlet match, too.
Hold on, I was gonna be Britt Baker.
No. You have to watch the predictions episode to find out who it is.
Oh, goddamn. All right. Well, that's a good tease. That's going to do it for the show today. Boy, no all-in locks. That's awesome.
That's great. That's what you
thrilling.
want.
That's thrilling. I
It's
can't
gonna make
even
some
tell you
tough
what the boring pick is for anything. What's the boring
force you to
pick
make
for
some-
Hangman Mox? Mox.
Yeah, that's the boring pick.
Yeah. That's a bad pick.
It would be a bad pick. But it's a possibility. It could happen.
Oh my
Mox
God.
could win.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen at All In. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.